All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Rocket Dollar webinar. So we're really excited. I know you guys are used to always seeing Brendan Walsh and sometimes myself. So I'm Henry Yoshida, the CEO and co-founder of Rocket Dollar. So we are a self-directed IRA provider. We're based in Austin, Texas, and Brendan is our head of partnerships and sales. So he's the one who hosts a lot of these, our subject matter expert in a lot of different alternative asset classes. But there's one that both he and I are not, I guess you could say, too much of an expert on. So we were very, very lucky to be able to work with Chris Kline on the team at Digital Trust and Josh Kaplan, who has spent, maybe we'll start with Josh. So Josh, you are the CEO of Gold Club Direct. And, we were talking the other day that you spent your entire career in precious metals. So maybe give a quick introduction, then I'll let Mr. Kline introduce himself as well.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah. Happy to be here. Happy to shed some light on the precious metal industry and give you some insight. I've been doing it for, well over 30 years, pretty much on all aspects. Started kind of, buying and selling over the counter at a local coin shop to, running logistics for some of the largest IRA providers out there. And always loved precious metals and gold and silver, and just the idea of buying and selling a physical asset was always interesting to me. And so excited to share my knowledge.
I'm going to come back to that too, because when you say like 30 years, you must have started when you were like 8 years old. But, just by the way you look younger than Chris and I. So, and then Chris, you and I have known each other for many, many years, and but I'm not sure that I don't think we've ever actually done one of these together. So I want to give you a chance to kind of tell about your background, how you came to be a Digital Trust, how you met Josh, and then I'm sure I wanted to kind of explain that we do know each other. So if we happen to poke each other with a couple of jokes, just know that there's history there. So.
Absolutely. And actually, I was thinking when he said 33 years, I'm like, I've been in the game for like 11 and he looks younger than me. So I feel like he's doing it way better than I am. Chris Kline, co-founder of Digital Trust. But my first inroads was actually into the self-directed IRA space was through precious metals many, many years ago. Not 30, but 11. And so I've got a little flavor about metals. But when I met Josh was after we had success with cryptocurrency, LLCs, real estate. And I think what they're doing over there is just absolutely amazing to really try to revolutionize what's happening in the gold industry. Our audience probably has heard plenty of horror stories about it. And I think that what they're doing is just changing the whole game. And that's why we're here. I mean, it's for you and me to be here, Henry, with our history together to endorse Josh and his company, what he's up to. They're really looking at gold and silver in a different way. So I'm excited about today's webinar together.
Yeah. And of course, Josh, you having been in several different aspects of it, like you were saying, you started buying and selling coins. So I imagine that the approach that Gold Club Direct is sort of just a culmination of your background and experience of how, let's say, the retail investor should buy, own, understand gold. And in our case, like for those that choose to hold it inside of an IRA, so that's where, we'll tap into Chris's expertise as well. But, maybe that's just like an easy place for Brendan and I to start and just ask a question of super high level here, but how was the price value of gold even determined? So like, just asking an expert like yourself.
Right. Well, that's a very big question to ask because, gold
super
is
open-ended. I'm sorry.
No. Well, it's, I mean, basically what is someone willing to pay and what is someone willing to sell it for is what any sort of asset is worth. Okay. Gold is like the original currency, so to speak. It's been used throughout time. I always tell the story that, one day in the middle of the desert, someone was willing to trade his flock of sheep for a sack of gold. And there you go. Gold became money and gold became a currency and value had there because why would a Bedouin in the middle of the desert trade his sheep that is worth something for something that is shiny yellow metal object? So it's always had that allure. It's always had that gold. But currently the way gold is pretty much valued these days is simply a supply and demand sort of aspect, right? You have obviously central banks that are purchasing it. You have there's current economic indicators such as like inflation rates, currency values. that you can even bring in some of the geopolitical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, the interest rate environment too also has had an effect on gold.
Yeah.
As we've seen, the interest rates have kind of spiked lately, and for gold to sort of maintain its value at these levels is quite promising for the future. Because when the interest rates sort of settle back down and become what we call normalized, we definitely will see it's less expensive to carry the gold. So therefore, we see the gold value could be rising over the next few years.
Okay.
And on top of that, oh,
Go ahead.
sorry, Henry, I just want to toss in on top of
Yeah.
that is there's the cost of production too. I mean, somebody's got to dig a hole in the ground deep enough to find gold and then take it out and smelt it, melt it, and then mine it and refine it into some of the things that are out there like gold American Eagle, silver American Eagles, or bars. All that has a cost of production to it. I think we've probably all seen on the History Channel the gold rush, where the guys are there with their big land movers up in Alaska and they're trying to find the next piece of gold that's available. There's no definitive finite capacity of gold in the world, but if you think back to early years, the gold rush of California, or the gold rushes even before that, in the 1800s and the 1700s, are the most of that gold used to be able to walk up to a stream and see a gold nugget sitting there. That's not the case anymore. You have to really dig deep into the ground, and it has a serious cost of production to it. That kind of helps build a baseline to what gold will go for in the marketplace. Am I right about that, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, as the cost of everything has gone up, mining has definitely gone up too as well. And some people say, this could be a debatable number, but it's well over $1,000 an ounce to mine gold these days.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Like, so the standardized is like a price per ounce, and when they say the price per ounce, is that accounting for all the incidentals that go into getting that into a unitized currency, like the silver dollar, a bar, and somewhat?
No, yeah, well, there's like raw gold, and then it gets refined, and then from the refineries, it ends up at the production facilities, and then sovereign mints sometimes utilize third parties to make the blanks, and then the sovereign mints strike the coins and release them. That would be like the American Gold Eagles, or the Canadian Maple Leaf coins. Anything that is monetized by a government is essentially it. One of the other go on. I was just going to say one of the other aspects in pricing the metal, right? What people don't really understand when it comes to the price of gold, it's priced in US dollars, right? Just like a barrel of oil is priced in US dollars, all around the globe, you have to trade your dollars into US dollars in order to trade gold. So therefore, as the US dollar sometimes has weakened, that will raise the price of gold. It'll make it more expensive in other countries, right? So as deflate, it's just something to keep in mind, that it's not just the United States we're talking about here. It's a global currency. And as you have to trade back and forth in US dollars, the stability of the US dollar, because we've been printing so much, could obviously affect the price of gold positively.
I see. Okay. All right. And that was actually kind of what I was double clicking on a little bit, was to ask you just, right now, we were just talking earlier that there was even a blurb on Bloomberg this morning that upside surprise in GDP data for the United States is actually pushing up the price of gold. So I was going to ask a little bit of like, hey, what are the things like sort of in the macroeconomic environment that makes the value of gold go up or down, and so forth?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I did see that blurb too as well. And it's always positive to see things written positive about the precious metal space.
Sure.
And so, look, I think in general, the public itself, us sitting on this call and in this room right now, can't really affect the price of gold, the spot price of gold. It really is countries, it really is sovereign wealth funds that are purchasing large amounts of gold as a protection and a hedge, because everybody at some depth in their soul doesn't believe in the currency that they're printing. So therefore, it's a protection against it.
Yep,
I got it. Okay. And then, maybe this leads into just a question too. And I know, Brendan, you'll field ones that come in from the audience that's with us here live. But, maybe that leads into the, okay, so we've established sort of what makes the price of gold move, what overall establishes the underlying value, but where are the different places that people can buy and sell gold now? I mean, Chris himself listed a multitude of different types of gold. You mentioned like the Canadian maple leaf. So where does like an average person like myself go and buy these things?
Well,
it's a good question. Josh, you want to jump into that? Because I'm thinking that the one of those is an IRA, but I want to talk about the others. So
absolutely,
you can obviously go down the street. If you go, I remember in 2008, there was people waving the signs, "We buy gold," right? Because gold was going from a couple $100 an ounce to over $1,000 an ounce because we were in turmoil. And those folks were looking to buy gold because they could turn it for a profit. There's also local coin shops, pawn shops, things like that, where you can go and buy gold. Now, the problem with that is that there's no guarantee of certification, authenticity. There's assay evaluations. Just like anywhere you go to buy, say you're going to buy a guitar down at the pawn shop. Are you going to trust that it's the Fender you expect it to be? Or is it going to be a different type of guitar that's maybe a fraud of something of that sort? So one layer above that are these exchanges. And Gold Club Direct is one of those where
you can go online. Gold Club Direct is. Okay.
Yep, that's where Gold Club Direct comes in, is that they're working, and the word direct is the most powerful word in their name because they're working directly with the source of gold and silver. So they cut out a bunch of middlemen and put clients directly in line with the gold and silver that they need, that can be shipped to them securely. So if they want to store it at home, or if they want to have it in a third-party depository of some type. Where digital trust comes in, and why I just love working with Josh, is that a lot of folks look at gold and silver as a nice hedge for their long-term retirement funds. So you can buy the same gold American Eagles, silver American. It's a shorter list. You can't just go get every type of gold and silver out there. There are what is called IRS approved metals, and it's about purity and fineness. But those can be placed in a depository on the behalf of your IRA for longer term holding. And I think the part that I love the most, and Josh and I always talk about this, is when it comes to that age of retirement, 59 and a half or 70 and a half, when you are, or I guess it's now 72, RMD stage, you can take the metals out directly. So you don't have to take out dirty dollars if you don't want to. You can take those coins from the depository, distribute them, and then hold them longer term in your safe or safety deposit box at home. It is an online world, and I think Josh will talk a little bit about like the balances of those groups. There's some that are more all about e-commerce transactions, others that have a little bit more personal touch. I think, Josh, if I'm wrong, Gold Club kind of balances between the two of them, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of came from all aspects of the world. And so when my vision of Gold Club Direct came about, was kind of melding all of those together to try and provide the cleanest, safest way to purchase gold. And, there's flaws of going into a coin shop. I mean, it's not very discreet. You can leave and, there could be someone watching you on the other side of the street as you pack your satchel in there. That's a safety issue. The other aspect is, you have high pressure salesmen that are making big commissions trying to sell you gold. So what Gold Club Direct is really, its mission statement was, and still is, and will always be, is to provide the lowest prices with the highest personal touch and communication. We have a gentleman, Alex Hawes, who's running, will answer the phone. If you call the 800 number right now, he will answer the phone, which is very unusual for any online company. So we really pride ourselves on the personal touch, as well as delivering unbelievable value. I mean, we really are cutting out, to what Chris has said, cutting out the middlemen, trying to deliver a gold coins products at the most reasonable prices out there. I mean, that's our.
I challenge even Henry. I challenge you to find a better price for gold and silver today than Gold Club Direct. When I first saw what they were doing, it blew my mind, because as Josh was saying, one of the pitfalls I think of getting gold and silver in your life is there is a niche market of people that will drive you towards a high pressure, high commission salesman. And Josh and I have met thousands of these over the years. And what they're doing is they're trying to get you into a product that may not make the most sense for you, makes the most sense for them. And that's one of the things that Gold Club Direct is. It's made it a truly self-directed platform. You can open up your IRA or just an account with them, and then you are at the discretion to add to cart what you're looking for. And you can go and shop it against every tab out there and look at every price out there. And you're going to find, wow, Gold Club's really delivering this. Stark contrast to some of the hidden fees and markups that this market has been plagued by over the years.
Okay. And then if we kind of maybe for Brendan, myself, and the audience here, so if someone were going to Gold Club Direct with the intent that they want to create an IRA to then hold precious metals, as you said, for as a hedge towards other assets they might have in retirement funds over the long term, then how's that different? Does the system and the website or the interface kind of limit to those that are eligible inside of an IRA? And then if you indicated IRA on the front end, then it's known that obviously I'm going to assume that there is no physical delivery to the person. There's delivery to the depository component or infrastructure, digital trust, and that particular amount that you purchase is held in your name at custody.
Yeah, exactly. So Josh has built an amazing e-commerce platform where you can get gold buys direct and shipped to your door. The add-on of the IRA is we partnered together and said, hey, let's get folks that are interested in IRA. And I think actually when you check out, you can check a box that says, I want to do this with an IRA. Now, that's not instantaneous anywhere. We have to fund and build the IRA. So Digital Trust will get your information, open up the IRA accordingly, which happens same day, sometimes within 10 or 15 minutes. And then we have to fund it. And there's three ways you can fund an IRA. You can do it via contribution, which is we all have about $6,000 to $7,000 we can put into an IRA setting every year. You can also transfer or roll over. So say you have a Fidelity IRA or Charles Schwab IRA, that money can be moved over via transfer, and it can be done partially. It doesn't have to be all that you have at Charles Schwab. And most of the folks look at 401ks, because every time we leave a job, the 401k that was getting created for us is now eligible to roll over into an IRA setting. Really powerful tool. A lot of folks, they leave the job, but they leave the 401k behind. So those are one of the three ways and popular ways to do it. Once the account's funded, then you'll be able to go online and see all the prices that are live for Gold Club Direct at that moment in time. And our associates at Digital Trust will help fill that market order for you. So if you say moved $50,000 and you wanted to put half and half in gold and silver, and you wanted either gold bars, silver coins, whatever your particular product of choice is, we would fill that order with the live pricing that's available at Gold Club Direct at that moment in time.
I see. Okay. All right. So really like a real seamless process, because, in the IRA world, related to precious metals, people have had to find those different components on their own. Like people didn't really have them all contained and so forth. But it sounds like you guys have made that easy while also cutting out a bunch of middle individuals to be able to make sure that people get the most fair and transparent pricing as close to whatever is publicly listed right now. If we were to go to Bloomberg and pull it up on a terminal, it would tell us the exact price per ounce prevailing of gold and silver and so forth. But my guess is, from what you guys are describing, the vast majority of individuals, if they're going through this middle layer of infrastructure, probably don't get anything close to that price. There's some big gap.
And I think Josh could probably talk a little bit about, so you got raw gold, and then you have bars and then coins that have different pricing based upon their, what are the details that drive those prices, Josh?
Can I just, we had a good audience question come in. So you're just mentioning about bars versus coins and rounds. So ask a question, just, is there any reputation difference, or like how does that change what you're buying depending on the shape that you're buying in? We can cover that first.
Yeah, I can speak to that. So gold bars are really traded based on the spot price of gold and really follow the premium on bars, manufactured bars, really does not vary that much. Okay. So when someone buys a 100-ounce silver bar or a 1-ounce gold bar, the premiums on those are very rarely do they vary by percentage points, right? However, on the manufactured coin part, like a silver eagle or a gold eagle, those can have wide-ranging premiums to them. So like I had spoken before about that the public cannot determine the price of gold, the spot price of gold, the public certainly can determine the premium paid on a coin or a product. So when demand skyrockets, like it did back in COVID, and production fell, right? The spot price didn't really go up that much. However, the manufactured coin prices, the silver eagles, the gold eagles, the actual coins, those skyrocketed to some of the highest premiums that anyone has ever seen. And that was truly driven by public demand for the product and a very short supply. So the coin prices, you definitely have, if you're looking for the most stable, just tracking the price of gold, gold bars are an excellent investment. The coins can have a varying degree of premium associated with them. That is all dependent upon the supply. So as currently right now, the premiums are back down to historical premiums right now. They're not out of control. They're not too low. They're not too high. They're right in a sweet spot right now. So
if someone were to buy a coin in an IRA, does it get recorded at the cost of the buy price of the coin? And then let's say that some event happens again to make that premium go up again, then there's a gain.
So unfortunately, Henry, it's my understanding that the reporting sort of on the trust side or the holding statement can only reflect the price of gold, where you'd be able to see where your coin would actually be worth, which leads us into the second part of what I think we wanted to discuss today, is how to sell your gold and how to sell your coins, right? It sort of leads right into that subject matter. Whereas with us, you will be able to see what the coins are worth, buy and sell on our platform eventually, is what we're trying to go towards. So leaning on that self-directed experience, someone will be able to see on beyond their holding statement that a depository might send them, that it says, oh, you have 50 ounces of gold, so it's worth X. But then if you can come onto our site and our platform, you'll see that those 50 gold are actually trading for a much higher premium right now, and you can capture that premium.
That premium holds on the sell as well. So it's not like you buy a gold eagle for $30 above spot, and then you have to sell it at $0 above spot. The premium holds for the in and out of the product. The nice part about the IRA is whether you buy it and it sells, because what else drives that price upwards is the price of gold itself going up. So it's been a little bit moving around. I have a funny joke with one of my buddies. I go off of the year as the price. So just about a month ago, it was in 1985. So that was when I was born. And then before that, I've seen it back in the early 1900s when the Federal Reserve was created. And right today, I think it's at like 2020. So we're just around future, almost about to be at the future. It's going to move around, and that premium is going to go and swing with whatever that product is that you have. However, when you sell it, this is the beauty of the IRA, is you're in a tax umbrella. So buying and selling assets, whether it's real estate, gold, silver, land, cryptocurrency, if you do it in an IRA, you can buy and sell all day without the capital gains implications. And I'm sure most of your audience understands that, as Rocket Dollar audience is, hey, I'm doing this for that tax advantage that takes place. Now, as you distribute, what it'll be, if you take out an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver, it'll be distributed at what Josh was saying as, we'll take the ounce of gold at that moment in time, whether it's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and that's what you're distributing out. Now you're going to have that coin, and you can go and hold it, liquidate it, use it for barter trade. One of the reasons why I'm a bigger fan of coinage is it's more recognized, acceptable globally. Bars, Josh will talk about this, I think, that bars kind of tend to have if they're not like in the gold world, if they're not like a Pomp Suisse or like what's the other name I'm thinking of, Josh?
The Engelhard or Credit Suisse.
Yeah, the Engelhards. Those are kind of recognized as their purity and acceptance, so it's easy to market them. There are some smaller ones, but nobody ever questions the value of a silver gold eagle, or like those are just, it's a gold or silver eagle. So I know that I'm the trust guy here, but I'm also a big fan of precious metals, and I hold gold and silver personally, and I do it all in gold and silver eagles. It's just the easiest way to track the marketplace, but also have an easy way to exit the market with a recognizable product universally.
Right. And just add one more layer to that, they're monetized. Okay, to go back to the original statement that I was saying. That's a sovereign mint. Most of the coins are monetized. They have like a silver eagle truly has a $1 monetization from the United States Mint, meaning the United States Mint, if silver went to zero, still will honor that as a $1 coin. The 1 ounce gold eagle has a $50 denomination to it. So therefore, if gold went to zero, which it never will, but if it ever did, you still have that $50 denominated piece of monetization, basically. So
that's a great explanation. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the audience that didn't even know what you guys just said there. And Chris, we were talking about this too, that I'll kind of reiterate to the audience that obviously for the real in the weeds, like sort of tax implications and things, you'd probably want to consult your tax advisor. None of us here operate in that capacity, but we operate either in the IRA space or the trust space or the precious metal space. So we can kind of talk to that. And then just obviously for the different and various people in the audience too, so that the contribution limit this year is $7,000, and then if you're over the age of 50, Josh started in the precious metals industry when he was 8, so he's well under that. But then you can do
an extra 50 years old. I swear, I'm 50.
Oh, so you get to jump up to the 7,500 this year, Josh. Look at you.
Yeah, I know.
Extra $7,500.
So you look younger than all of us, and you get to put more money into your IRA. You're like, man,
something doesn't feel fair
what a
here
blessing.
right
now. What it is to be Josh Kaplan.
Good living. It's good living. It's good living.
That's nice. Andy said that the weather is nice, so I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that probably 80% or more of the audience here and the hosts, the weather is terrible. It's terrible here, where I'm at today. But again, what it must be like to be Josh Kaplan, for sure.
Yeah, and
I think something that we should add in, by the way, we keep talking about how to buy metals, but in the IRA, you have to store them somewhere, right? You have to put them somewhere securely. And Josh knows this, there's been a handful of recognized and approved IRS depositories over the years. The first one is known as DDSC, the Delaware Depository, where coins and silver will be held. And what happens is Digital Trust has a vault. And inside that vault, it has commingled or segregated vaults in which your silver or gold will be stored on a shelf under the account name for your IRA. Josh is this is part of being Gold Club Direct and being on the inside of this industry. They have uncovered and helped build or been a part of or just know the group out of Henderson, Nevada. That's one of the newest ones. So I've known of DDSC. There's also Brinks. Popular one is in Salt Lake City. There's one in New York as well as Los Angeles that you can store it at. And then there's one in Henderson, Nevada. And I think it's TDS is the name of it, Josh. And this group what they've done is depositories are kind of old school. I mean, think about it. It's a vault behind armed guard, behind all these security layers. What this group has done is really sped up the transaction processing. So whether products need to be shipped out to the client directly, move between vaults for liquidation, they're using technology to be much faster about those things. Can you talk a little bit about that group down there, Josh?
Yeah. So actually, they're part of our organization. It's A-Mark Precious Metals is a part of our group. They own a subsidiary, a vaulting service called AMGL, which is also TDS. They're located literally on the tarmac of what was the Harry Reid Airport. I don't know what it is called now, but in Las Vegas, I think they renamed it. So they actually have a facility there. And so it's all of our metals from Gold Club Direct, if you purchase for direct to consumer, is shipped from those vaults. So there's the security there is bar none. They literally have a door, a roll-up door that opens this way, and you're on the tarmac. So a UPS plane or a FedEx plane is right next door. They load it up, put it on there, and off it goes to you. So there could not be a more secure or safe place to be sending precious metals from. They are technologically advanced and now are entering into the IRA space. So they make it very easy and very seamless to transfer the metals, buy and sell the metals, etc. So we have a very good working relationship with them, and they're our partners in this endeavor, and it's been fantastic.
Understood.
Thanks for going over that. That is one of the most common questions we get on the phone is, Rocket Dollar clients, they're getting their IRA set up at Digital Trust. They always want to ask how and where it's deposited. And I think that's also one of the ways the fees, Chris mentioned a couple fees can get you. If you're not paying attention how your depository is going to be managed, we hear a lot of complaints of, I signed up, I got the gold price I liked, I figured out all the fees, and then the depository fees was not what they expected. And that really increased and made a poor experience for them.
I can't say that I'm 100% about this, but I believe, just like with what Gold Club's doing, Digital Trust is a digital company. So we've focused on cutting out the cost. What happens is it's the human manual costs that create that expense. And so we've tried to cut those out. And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have the lowest cost out there when it comes to storage fees. I think most folks are somewhere between $200 to $250 a year in storage fees. And with Gold Club's help, we're getting this next to almost zero for most of our IRA holders. It's about there is a cost to holding the IRA because we have to file things with the IRS and do those. But when it comes to storing the metals, because of these unique digital partnerships, we're able to pass that savings along to our clients. And it would be great if it's something that folks are interested in. Alex, who Josh mentioned earlier, can answer all the intimate details about storage, particularly for what you're looking for. Some folks like to store in different places too. They like to put it. Brinks has got a big brand name. They may want to put it there. Well, Brinks has a bill. But when you work with Gold Club Direct, we have an exclusive partner in the IRA space that can do things in a much more cost-effective fashion.
Right. Okay. And this probably is a great segue too, because we kind of started obviously talking about how the value of gold is determined, how to buy gold. And then we just, thanks for the great explanation, both of you guys. And Brendan, I really appreciate it because it's a common question for sure that we get about how the gold is stored. And Chris, you hinted at this, but I think I rudely cut you off. So sorry, while I was complimenting Josh for looking younger than us. But you quickly alluded, but maybe now we can transition into the selling, right? Because that's the other thing that happens too. You mentioned that a lot of people, there's a whole industry that's there to market to folks, commission sales individuals and so forth to get people to buy the gold. There is a lot less that's talked about how to efficiently sell gold. So maybe that's where we can kind of wrap this up and go into the selling part, because that's important. Because if you're holding this as an investment, you obviously need to have an exit strategy, right? The greatest investors ever say that they always have an exit strategy before they ever make the buy.
Exactly. And Josh will talk to this a little bit, but I've lived it. So I just pulled out one of my Silver American Eagle tubes. So I got this little Silver American Eagle here. And I also have a really cool one a client gave me. This is the curved coin that the Mint made for the moon landing anniversary. It may not come out very well on the camera, but it's actually concaved. And so this is what I get excited about, is that this is not only is this store of value, I've taken something off of the US dollar standard and held it for my own personal wealth, but also there's some cool stuff they do with these coins nowadays. But when it comes to selling, I think one of the biggest weaknesses is logistics. So if you aren't in an IRA setting, most folks will settle with going down to the local pawn shop or somewhere where they can sell their gold. That guy that's swinging that sign around that says, I buy gold or silver. The problem with that is that his business model is to buy at the lowest price possible and then turn around and sell at the highest price possible. So you might walk in with this curved coin is a limited edition. It's probably worth a couple $100. If I walked into this to a local pawn shop, he's going to give me what's known as melt rate. He's just going to say, hey, silver is $25 an ounce today. I'll give you $25, maybe even less, because he needs to make that premium. What Josh and his team have done is not just with the IRAs, which is an easy way to say, just like you bought it, we're going to help you sell it. They've made it a logistical dream come true, where it's coming through. They're going to get you set up. You'll let them know what you're looking to sell. They'll send you a quote, lock the prices. They'll give you the prepaid shipped and insured shipping label for those places that are going to take that metal right to that door at that same airport. It's going to come through video camera unpackaging to verify validity on both sides. And then you're going to get the funds moved to your account via wire or as expedite as possible. This is a big difference from what Josh and I know, is that in the gold and silver game, if you go to any of these high price brokers, is there's nobody ever sells, they swap. And so if you call them and say, hey, I'm looking to get rid of my gold, they're going to get you on the phone with somebody that's going to convince you that you should buy silver now, or you should buy platinum, or you should switch to this new coin that's got this great uptime. and all of it is just, it's just what it is. It's kind of a fugazi. It's designed to get another transaction cost out of you. One of the things they do at Gold Club Direct is they cut all that out, and it's whatever you need to sell for, we're going to get you the best price possible for liquidation, just like we got you the best price possible for purchase. And we're going to make the logistics of the process much simpler. What did I miss there, Josh? I know this is like your brainchild. You're so proud of it.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I think you hit it on the head with someone that actually has their gold physically, right? Mm-hmm. But what you guys are dealing with Rocket Dollar and with Digital Trust is you guys are dealing with IRAs, right? And so the IRA experience for anybody out there that already has an existing IRA, precious metal IRA, that selling experience can be very, very, very confusing and very difficult. Most of the time, they do not want to either go back to the person that sold it to them because maybe they sold at a higher value than what it's worth, or the person that actually did sell it to them doesn't want to talk to them because maybe they know that they sold it for too high of a value, right? So what we're trying to capture here is really what this low-hanging fruit that we see out there is this, how does someone liquidate the coins or gold out of their IRA? And what we're doing is making that really simple. We have a system where you could literally upload your holding statement, which everyone gets. Everyone has one. Anyone that has an IRA that's held by a third-party trust or depository has a holding statement, right? We're just going to make it as simple as can be. They take that holding statement. Everyone has it in a PDF form or someplace that they're used to clicking and dragging and putting it into a email. That email will come to us, and within minutes, you'll have a quote as to what that value of that metals is worth. And if you accept the quote, as soon as you sign the ticket that you'll transfer it from your account into our account, the funds will be there in 24 hours. So it's that simple of a process. And you won't have to talk, you won't have to get sold something else or be in a situation where you feel, embarrassed that you're selling, et cetera. This is all something that as we're trying to create, back to what Chris is saying, of truly self-directed experience, which is not being done in today's market.
And even if you're not a client of Gold Club, and maybe you're not a client of Rocket Dollar, but you're watching this, say you maybe have your metals with Gold Star, Equity. There's a lot of self-directed IRA players out there. We got a whole team at Digital Trust that's an expert in helping move those assets, even though they're not held by us. We can get you the DOI, or investment of direction form is what it's called. So whatever you're holding, we can help get that filled out, get it DocuSigned, get it sent over to that group. And then in that document, it'll direct that those metals are sent to the vault that Josh has, not just at TDS, but we have them at DDSC, Brinks, et cetera, so that as fast as we can get those metals moved over from the depository, we can get funds put back into your IRA for future investing in other assets.
Yeah. And what you just described are people that maybe there's people that are listening in here because they have had a less than stellar experience with an existing gold IRA provider, and they're like, hey, this sounds great. I want to do this, but what do I do? Because again, not easy to sell over there. It was easy for me to get into it, not as easy to get out. But it sounds like what you're describing is that for folks with an existing precious metals IRA, there's an option to do a direct type of transfer.
And
100%.
And that's been a big growth of business for us. Rocket Dollar, and kind of why us and Digital Trust are working together, is we're pretty price competitive out there in the space for the self-directed IRA space. We've seen a lot of our competitors raise prices during this inflation era, everyone was mentioning, and we had a lot of our clients call us and kind of say, hey, when, the competitor raised prices on my IRA there, when are you raising mine? And part of it's called a silver account. That's just our pricing level. It's our affordable one, $360 to get in, and then $15 a month. We've been very firm in that 15 a month price level. So we'll have a lot of in-kind transfers now coming in from competitors. If you are not happy with your experience, please let us know. We'll get you set up at Rocket Dollar and Digital Trust. And then if there are metals involved, we can work with that partnership to make sure we take care of that. Yeah. So depending on the assets people have, sometimes it's a couple $100 a year. Sometimes they have a pretty big IRA or a lot of transactions. It's a couple $1,000s a year. We've been able to save people in fees.
Right.
Yeah. Well, look, maybe here at the end, guys, Josh, let me give you a chance. Like, where can people find out information? Like, what's the domain? You want to give that out here, and we'll make sure.
It's very simple. It's just goldclubdirect.com. That's it.
goldclubdirect.com. And then there'll be a phone number there that
there is
you
a
might
phone
get
number.
Alex Haas on the end of it.
Alex is probably waiting right now and maybe even listening in and waiting for your phone call for sure.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. All right.
I've been in meetings where Alex will go, "Hey, I gotta go. Somebody's calling." Like he's dedicated to customer service.
For sure.
It's just great.
It's
a fresh breath of air in the world of precious metals, just like Rocket Dollar is in the IRA and self-directed space. Like and that's why we're all here together. Is I think we're all trying to do something better for the consumer in this industry, and hopefully they've gotten some good knowledge today around what can be done.
I hope so too. And before I go, I wanted to talk to Brendan's point, because he brought up a really good point about, he's getting people coming from other areas. And, we just want to make somebody happy with their transaction. If they want to purchase real estate, crypto, whatever they want to do with the money that they liquidated out of their IRA, we're happy with that. We don't have to take on both sides of the transaction. We're just here to facilitate. To Brendan's point, if someone does have a precious metal IRA that they want to liquidate, they can liquidate through us and then take that money and invest in real estate through Rocket Dollar, et cetera. So I think that's a real, partnership that we have with our partners.
Okay, and I just want to give the audience kind of last call for open questions. We've had someone who's been waiting to get a question answered. This was one that's probably for Josh.
I saw that one about the quality of the gold and silver. So there's a durability to this stuff too. So I mean, I'm going to grab some real quick. I don't normally jump up, but I have to show this. So I just got this for Christmas from a good friend of mine. And this is a dollar bill from
your friends give you some awesome gifts, by the way.
I know, I got some good friends. Maybe I'm a good friend. I don't know how it works, Henry. But so this is a dollar bill that's actually from 1915, so or 17, right after the Federal Reserve was created. And it's in a case because it doesn't get crumpled up, or I don't know. I guess some grandma got this right off the mint and put it in a case because it is in beautiful condition. It's actually worth way more than $1 because it's more of a collectible. But the paper and currency itself has a durability factor to it. And the U.S. dollar is pretty well put together. It holds up over time. But what doesn't is some other currencies like the Kenyan dollar actually deteriorates faster than when people try to hold it. So there's this durability factor that happens, and you can do a lot of crazy things. I know I cracked this thing. This was in a case, by the way, like this one a long time ago, and I like to fidget, so I took it out, and I'm sure Josh is like, I cannot believe you took that thing out of the case. But it's been about 4 months since I'd done that, and there's no blemishes. I mean, I spin it around on my desk. My daughter stole it for like a week and took it to school and showed it off, and it's still 1 ounce of silver, and it holds that durability. That alone. Now, there are specialty coins you'll hear, and if you're hearing these types of things, you're not ready for an IRA because these coins don't apply, and you might be talking to the wrong guy, but they'll get into like, what is it, AU, almost uncirculated, BU, MS grade, these things. If you're a collector of coins and doing something at a whole nother level than what we're talking about today, that's your bread and butter. What we're talking about is just exposure to alternative money. The dollar, this little guy right here was worth $1 whole back in 1915. It has lost 93% of its purchasing power today since the inception of the Federal Reserve. And that's because we print the crap out of this stuff, and it's losing value every single day. And it really went hypercycled in the COVID years. And this is why we're talking about inflation and all these things that drive the price of gold. When this thing's losing money, this guy's storing the value for you. And that's as simple as gold and silver has to be. If you're asking about quality of coins, bars, it's usually pretty safe to store them. And I mean, I store mine in a safe or a safety deposit box. The depositories are designed for climate control and those types of things. But the beauty is, and Josh, tell me if I'm wrong, the durability versus any paper money out there is like night and day, right?
Well, Chris is correct. If you're in the IRA business and you want to, and we're doing this IRAs 100%, the quality of the coin is known. It's a known commodity, because most of the product that is eligible for IRAs is the coins that are newly minted, something that is made probably from 1986 and on. If the question is associated with what's the value of a 1921 silver dollar or a circulated coin, of course, coins can go from anywhere. The most frustrating thing from my end is someone, will send me a list of coins and say, what are these coins worth? And I say, snap a photo, send it over to me. I look at them. I know that they're circulated or they're the condition that they're in. And I say, okay, your 1921 silver dollars worth $25. And they go, well, I see it on the internet for $5,000. I don't understand what's the difference between that one and the one that I'm holding in my hand. And the truth of the matter is it's very difficult for somebody who's not been doing this their whole life to understand the real difference on that. The most common mistake someone could make is they start cleaning the coin, right? Take a little toothbrush to it or something. Well, I shined it up and now it looks like it. Well, when you clean a coin, you really ruin even more of its value. So really what you're looking to do is just, the value of a coin does depend on condition if we're talking about the older antique coins. And it could vary tremendously. I mean, from $500 to $500,000 on some.
Yeah, there's errors that happen too. There's a common known dime that was mismarked. There's St. Caudens that didn't have what's called the "In God We Trust" motto on them, and because they're more rare, they get more value to them. So if you're going down that, I'm sure Alex would talk your brain off if you want to call him or link up and schedule a call with him, because he knows the ins and outs of that stuff.
Yeah, the best way to do it, if you really did, I really can value something based on a photograph, and if you really are intent on finding out what the value of something is, again, you can go online, you can send us an email, you can attach a photograph to what you have, and we can pretty much value it from there. It's just from the years of experience. So yes.
Yeah.
And Henry, yes, I started when I was 16, so I've actually been in the business for over 30 years, which is kind of crazy to say out loud. But yeah,
so that was close. I said 8.
Ultimately, in that I started at 16 and now I'm close to 50. I'm almost 51. So yeah, that's
well. And this was just that quality one. We were talking about this in the prep call for this, but I mean, and maybe this is good just for general regular person, retail investor, public awareness. But we were talking about how I happened to be at a Costco on one of those days where they did roll out like a new pallet of their gold bars, and people just flocked to it. I mean, people dropped their giant thing of Dunkin' Donuts coffee and so forth, and just walked over and grabbed like whatever the limit was, 3, I think it was. And
Gold Club's cheaper. Gold Club's cheaper, just so you know.
All right.
On those 1 ounce gold bars that they're selling, we are cheaper. So
Gold Club Direct, we beat Costco, and
we will beat Costco. Yes.
And then I'd be remiss before Brendan, and as you kind of go this out, but Chris mentioned that his daughter stole the coin, but I noticed that he stole his daughter's honor roll certificate. So
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty proud of it. That was for anybody that has kids, the biggest thing you want to try to do is build discipline and success. And this is her. She's in 4th grade. It's her first year of getting real grades. I know you have a 7th grader and a high schooler, Henry.
7th grade, 2nd grade.
7th grade, 2nd. So and she got honor roll and she brought it up here to my office. And this is when we made Forbes for creating the first Bitcoin IRA and Wall Street Journal for the same thing. And she goes, "Dad, I want to put it right there." And I was like, "Fine, by all means." So I'm happy you pointed out, Henry. It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
And we have a really good question that Laura asked in the audience. So she has a Rocket Dollar account for a while, and she's been one of the clients that's already moved to Digital Trust. So if you're listening right now, we've been relocating a lot of business to Digital Trust. We've worked with a couple custodians in the past because it's a great place for the business. We can feel like it's service at best there. So our clients at Digital Trust continue to grow. She asked, we're mentioning a precious metals IRA here a lot on the call. A good thing to remember about a self-directed IRA and all these terms, that same IRA can also invest in real estate. The IRA that Laura has, she might be in another asset. She wants to know, hey, can she work with Gold Club Direct with that IRA? That answer is yes. So Laura asked, hey, do I need to create like a 2nd or 3rd IRA to get all these assets? No, you do not. So if you already have a traditional or Roth IRA with us, we can get the conversation started with Josh. Or if there's another asset, just let us know. You're probably going to be able to invest in it. And it's very common for our clients to have 2 IRAs, but that's only because they have a traditional and a Roth with us. They don't have to keep opening additional ones if they have a new investment idea that they want to.
And also speed to investment is huge. If your funds are already at Digital Trust, maybe your real estate investment just paid off or you cashed it out, you're ready to literally buy today if you wanted to through Gold Club Direct, because the funds are there and they can be verified. If we have to move it from Fidelity or elsewhere that kind of slows the stuff down. But Laura, it sounds like if there's some metals you want to try out, it'd be best to get you on with Alex or Josh today just to evaluate what we're looking for.
All right.
Perfect. Well, that's a great one at the end, and I appreciate you guys letting me joke around a little bit with you guys, but I just really enjoy it. But thank you very much for sharing that information. I mean, I know that even I had the benefit of having a pre-call with you guys, and I still feel like I learned a lot of new stuff. So, I mean, just Brendan and I and the audience, we really appreciate the time, and we'll distribute this back out. So people, those of you who were able to chime in live, we're going to let everyone get back to work. But then you'll have a version, a link, so you can go back, listen to anything you want, or forward that on to someone as well in your network.
Great.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for having us.
Appreciate
It's
your
been
time.
a privilege, absolute privilege.
Thanks for stopping by. And the last thing is we're going to give Josh a Gold Club direct special code for Rocket Dollar. So if you purchase a Rocket Dollar account, which is backed by the IRAs of Digital Trust, that discount code will get you a bit of a discount. So Josh, we'll send that to Josh and your team. If someone mentions Rocket Dollar on the phone, and they're brand new, if you're already a client, don't worry about it. But if you're brand new, someone can use that code to get a discount.
That's terrific. That's
all right. Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
All right.